Hello and welcome to Live with Jesse and Melva. Once again, we're happy that you joined us. Jesse's going to be with us in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get us started. So we are continuing the journey of the experience of betrayal and infidelity as experienced by a woman that we're calling Veronica. And we're doing it as a series because there's so many layers of what needs to be attended to when a person is experiencing any type of betrayal. Hers is infidelity. Yours could be people not keeping promises. Whatever form it takes, it has an impact, and it has very painful and hurtful impact. And so what we're trying to do over this series is to honor the fact that that impact and that pain is real, and that a person does not have to stay in a reactive state to it. That beneath the surface of all of this is an opportunity for healing, growth, and opportunity. And just because you've been victimized by a situation, you don't have to become a victim. You can become victorious. And so we're taking Victoria's story layer by layer, step by step, to demonstrate and illustrate what can be done in addressing something so painful in a way that produces growth and transformation. So, Jesse's going to join us. So here's what we're going to do this time. We have covered like 5 layers of Veronica's story. This time we're going to cover a very specific layer, the 6th layer. And she's getting ready for the plan, because it's difficult to make a plan unless you know all the pieces that need to go into the plan. And so the piece, the golden nugget that we'll call it, because beneath all of this growth and opportunity, growth and transformation, a lot of hidden treasures lay beneath the surface. And so this piece, this one piece, will be about values and values clarification for her. We're also going to talk about how this particular golden nugget, this piece that she's going to be adding to her plan, supports her growth and transformation. And if you're going through anything like Veronica, then you will have an opportunity to think about how this particular step can support you in moving forward and support your growth and transformation. Hi.
Hello.
Come on and join me. There we go. And now it really is Jesse and Melva. So, and then we're going to introduce you to the next step, because there are many steps. And then we're going to invite you for a complimentary consultation to support you to have a jump start on this particular step. So, Mr. J, yes. Are you ready to get started?
I am ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the progress that Veronica has made so far, because this is a journey, and she's taken several steps so far to support her. So the first thing she did was she created a safe space for inner reflection, because when a person is upset about anything, it's so important to shift out of survival state. It's so important to shift out of that spontaneous knee-jerk reaction. So you need something to, because you have to interrupt the pattern of becoming reactive. So she has her safe place. So she also answered the question about what she can and cannot change. What she knows for sure is that she cannot change Vernon. If he decides to have affairs until the day he dies, she can't change that. But she can change how she manages her feelings and her thoughts and her actions. And the step that she's going to take today is going to provide a nice guideline for her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she decided how she wants to feel. And we know that's important to decide how you want to feel, because nobody wants to feel pain. Nobody wants to feel hurt. What do you want to feel instead? Well, she identified what she wanted to feel instead, and we'll review that in just a couple of minutes. And then she described her vision for what it looks like when she feels the way that she wants to feel, not just in relationship with Vernon, but in her life as well. She established a starting point, because you have to know where you're starting when you have a vision or a goal, so that you know what the gap is. So she knows what the gap is between where she is to where she wants to be. So on a scale of 1 to 10, she's really at a 4. So she's got some work to do in the gap. But the gap is a wonderful, sacred place for her to do that work. And so she has her starting point. She's ready to get going.
All right.
Right? Right. All right. So we're talking about values clarification. It's so important for Veronica to be clear about the values that are connected to the feelings that she has. And so when you think about values, I'm going to share a definition that we're using for values. So the definition that we're using is that values and values clarification is an ongoing process of the development of defining what one values, what one believes to be most important. So what is most important to Veronica is to have certain experiences in life and in her marriage. We're going to go into detail about that in just a few minutes. It's about values clarification. It clarifies what a person cares about the most. And one thing that people care about the most is not to be in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And people care about being happy. People care about engagement, having a positive experience.
Right.
And then the next part of values clarification is it clarifies how a person acts on those values in daily life. It's important to have that piece of the puzzle clarified. So when we talk, so what are some examples of values? So we're sharing a few. So values, examples of values, they're things like integrity, a person having integrity. And when we're doing values clarification, we're talking about what the individual person values. So we're talking about values for Veronica, because the values that she has, they may not necessarily be the same values that Vernon has. So integrity, privacy, a lot of people love their privacy. They need to have their privacy in very specific kinds of areas. And then there's family. The family is important and a priority. Being honest. I don't think anybody enjoys being lied to.
Yeah.
I'm just searching my brain to try to think of anybody I know that enjoys being lied to. I can't think of. I don't think you can either.
No. And I guess I'd like to know those people who are.
Mm-hmm.
I can put some distance between me and them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then harmony is a value. To many people, having a harmonious life is crucial. I think we all want that. And loyalty. Who doesn't want loyalty?
Mm-hmm.
So these are examples. And in love, marriage, and life, many people want people who are loyal to them,
Right.
that they can be loyal to. And then they want those folks to be loyal to them as well. Okay, so why are these values important? And why are we concentrating on values for Veronica? And also, they're important to us as well. See, when you have when you're clear about your values, you have tunnel vision of where you're going to put your focus. When you don't, if you're not clear, then you're just like all over the place in terms of what you're responding to. And somebody will ask you, well, why are you upset about it? It's because the reason could be because I don't like it. But when you're clear about your value, you can say it's not in alignment with my values. Values also provide a template to process thoughts and feelings and actions. And that's why being in that safe place is so important, where you're calm and you can do the work of processing based on what is most important to you. What results do you want to have?
Right.
And then the third thing is values are like an inner coach. And a lot of us have, many of us have a coach that will guide us from point A to point B. Well, we have an inner coach that can do the same thing to provide that guidance based on the template of whatever our values are. So for Veronica, her values based on the feelings that she wants to experience, they're based on feeling more peaceful, more hopeful, and more powerful. So she's clear. She's clear about her values. Okay, so let's take a tiny bit of a look at that a little more. For integrity, when she has that for herself, when she is in alignment with integrity for herself, she feels powerful. Honesty, these are her values based on how she wants to feel. When she's honest with herself and others, then she feels in alignment with her values so that she feels hopeful. Now, she's married to someone who may not have that same value in terms of honesty and integrity. And then the third value, because she has many, so we're for the sake of what we're focusing on now, we're focusing on her top three to get through what she's experiencing with Vernon. So the third one is loyalty. She's a very loyal person. And when she's in alignment with being loyal and having somebody that she cares about being loyal to her, she's aligned with her feelings of feeling powerful.
Yeah.
So she's really clear. So this template for these three values, they're going to guide her for the decisions that she's going to make when she's putting all the pieces together for her plan of action to navigate and work through the pain of what she's going through right now. So here's a question.
Okay.
One question is, a very important question is, how aligned is Vernon's infidelity with her values?
It's a good question, but I think we also know the answer to that.
Okay. Tell us the answer, Jesse.
The answer is that they're not in alignment. And when they're not in alignment, then it really makes it difficult for the two of them to kind of coalesce over the same set of values that are important to each of them.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to honor her values as well as his values, but they just don't match.
Well, his values don't match with her, but we don't even know what his are.
That's true.
I mean, some people, so I'm just talking about like over the years, people that we've talked to, that we've met with in counseling and our workshops, and also people that we know personally, when there's an affair, it's so interesting that to have had the opportunity to talk to so many men and to listen to how they think. Now, it doesn't mean that women don't have affairs, because they do. But we're just talking about this particular couple, this particular example. And especially very successful men, not all, but the ones that have shared their thinking and what have you with me. And the men that you've worked with when you've worked with couples, they've shared their thinking with you too. And I like the way that you do the reality check on it. It's like, you can ask a question in such a way that they could be defending their reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. And you can just ask a question in such a realistic kind of way that they don't have a comeback, except to say, if they will say it, that they're off track. Because if they want their marriage to work, then they will, some things that they can make their marriage work and still do what they're doing. But some have said to me that, especially if I met with them individually, that the reason why they had affairs was because they could. Because it was the opportunity was available. And some have said, and tell me if this fits for what you know as a man and also the men that you've talked to. Some have said that having an affair is separate from my relationship with my wife, because I love my wife, and there's no emotional connection to the person that I'm having an affair with.
Right.
Then that's when I learned how men's brains are wired differently, that they could put situations and people in certain categories. So when they go into the category of the affair, they're just focused on the affair. When they're in the category of the marriage, they're focused on the marriage.
Right. Now, I know that would be very strange for women in general, is because women don't think like that.
That would be true.
And so, what they're wanting is, in terms of their values, they're wanting a relationship with a person that they can depend on, they can count on, that who will be loyal to them. And this business about being involved with more than one woman is completely strange to them. And
to a woman.
Yeah, to a woman. So
what you're saying, they feel justified?
Yeah, they can justify it. It's a fun thing. It has nothing to do with my family, my wife, my values, to my family and marriage. It's all that I can separate departmentally. I can put my affair here, my marriage here, my children here, my business here, and other kinds of things. And they don't cross over from one to the other.
Yeah, and that presents a problem, especially since in this case, Veronica's values are so different. So they're different, and her values have been violated. At some point that maybe we can tap on this later on, because we're not dealing with Vernon yet. We're helping Veronica to get through this. All right, so Veronica's values of integrity, honesty, and loyalty, they have been violated. See, now here's the thing. Now, even though there was some infidelity before they got married, Vernon made a promise that he would never do that again. Now, they've been married for over 20 years, and he's consistently broken that promise. And so from what you just said, Jesse, about how men justify, and what I recall about what men have said to me about justifying having affairs, I would be very, very curious about what his values are. But right now, sticking with Veronica, we know that this is part of the pain that she's dealing with because of the violation. So what is the next step then? So what does she do about the violation to her values? We want to take our time with that. And so we're going to talk about that a little more next time. And what we would like to do now is to turn to you and ask you a question. First of all, are you clear about your values? What is most important to you? What you care about the most in love, marriage, and life? Are you really clear about that? And if you brainstormed all of your values and you picked your top 3, what would they be? What would they be? And the second question for you, in terms of applying Veronica's situation to possibly yours, are you living in alignment with those values? And is your mate? And when values have been violated, and first talk about, your own values. So for Veronica, I'm just thinking about that. When she tolerates all of this, she's been tolerating this for over 20 years. Is she in alignment with her values when she tolerates Vernon's behavior? Is she in alignment with integrity for herself? Is she in alignment with honesty? I mean, she's honest that she doesn't like it. But is she in alignment with being honest about why she tolerates it? And number 3, is she in alignment with being loyal to herself in terms of tolerating it?
Right.
And those are the questions to ask yourself. So if there's any values violations, or you may have a value, what is it? Jennifer Kim calls value voids. And that is that you have a certain value, but it is not being fulfilled or acknowledged or recognized or honored. Do you have that? And if you do have that deficit, are you tolerating that? So those are questions to ask yourself. And when you come up with the answers, just be with the answers for now, because we're going to take you through some more steps to support you to navigate through this. When we started this process, I thought maybe we'd have maybe 5, go call them sessions again, like we're doing a counseling session, that we'd have like a 5-part series. That's what I was trying to say, a 5-part series. But it's beginning to be longer than that. And, and one of the reasons why we're taking our time, because a lot of times when people are supporting people to achieve a certain result, many times they're looking for an overnight result. And that does not happen because the brain is wired to support current results. And you have to be clear about what needs to be different so that you can have a different result. And since the brain is wired to do what a person is currently doing right now, that process has to be interrupted over and over and over again. And first, and this is what we're going to be doing with the plan, first there has to be, the action has to take place first. So that, and then the feelings and the thoughts follow. Action has to take place first. So you take action, and it's almost like you start with a ritual, something that you just do over and over and over again. And then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes spontaneous. So your brain is now wired for the new behavior. Now, you will find that there will be a temptation to go back to doing things the way that you did them before. It'll be just a temptation. But the motivation to follow through on doing what you used to do will not be as inspiring because you have that other have it in place because you'll be doing it unconsciously over and over again. Okay, so what did we cover today, Mr. J? So what we covered was part 6 to Veronica's story, value clarification. I just cannot tell you how important this step is, you know, because it's like it keeps you focused and keeps you on step toward moving toward the results that you want to experience. And then we also shared how this values clarification is supporting Veronica's growth and transformation and how it can support yours. And we offered the complimentary consultation to support you to have a jump start. And next time, Mr. J, next time we're going to be focusing on the next step. And as I was thinking about it, and as I was talking about this to Jesse, I was thinking about all of this within the context of beneath the surface of any conflict or any pain or any troubling situation is an opportunity for knowledge, awareness, growth, and transformation. And there's many pieces to that. And when people know what they are, then they know how to take the steps in alignment with the results that they want. And I know I've said that so many times that we've been talking today. And we want to give you that support. We want to give you that information. We want you to know that there is a gap. According to Michael Beckwith, the gap is God's area of preparation, because you can't take the old you to the new experience that you want to have. You have to get in touch with the new you and take the new you to where you want to go, because you'll be in alignment on all levels. Hey. So with that, we want to thank you again for joining us for Live with Jesse. I don't know why I get so tickled when I say that. For Live with Jesse and Melva, and we're looking forward to next time. And also let's start off with the consultation. I was going to say that we also have a private free Facebook group, and we'd like for you to join us there, where we could be in touch. And the question that we're answering right now, because we do want your questions. So be sure to go to Jesse and Melva, no, not Jesse and Melva, Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples /contact. And you can put your name and your email address and set up a complimentary consultation. You can also ask a question, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
So until next time, it's Melva and
Jesse.
Then take care. Bye-bye.
Watch Live with Jesse and Melva right here on Solivity TV every Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to